Hello, and welcome to 5 Minutes of History with Hakora. This is going to be a quick one. This is for mainly my brothers and sisters in Hawaii, but not exclusive. Okay. Let's do this first. Okay. Now, this is just my opinion based on the information that I am consuming. Don't shoot the messenger. I might be... Look, Wikipedia lies to us, all right? Anyway, so 1789, Cook landed in Hawaii. He came back 12 years later and he brought all the English and the ministers and the priests and the churches and blah, 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 and all that indoctrination. And between 1800 and 1834, they beheaded 38,000 Hawaiian people for using a prepositional phrase, meaning they bullied them and indoctrinated them into the wrong grammar. The wrong grammar is adverb-verb. They also brought with them tons of diseases, which actually created basically genocide. Now, just slip down a sec. Oh, no, let's go there. So, 1871, October 22, Hawaii goes into bankruptcy, which means they borrow a ton of money off Switzerland, they move all the gold and silver off the land, and they replace it with paper. Now, Hawaii, because of its location, and because of back then it was steam engines, it meant that all ships had to stop at Hawaii to grab coal. So whoever controlled Hawaii controlled the entire South Pacific commerce trade. Dun, 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 dun. Right, here up. 1871 was the birth of the UPU. That is the Universal Postal Union. They offered this awesome deal to deliver the mail for 2 cents. They're like, yay! And they got 250 countries to immediately sign up. So if you want to talk about who's taking over the world, they already did it in 1871, which means that the post office took complete control. Okay? The post office is the world jurisdiction in a sea of space. Mail is considered a vessel. A human is considered a vessel too. So when you dock and you pay for your filings, it becomes docked and becomes a document. Just a little side note, Freemasons have been around for 8,500 years. There is a book called Manly Hall's Secret of All Ages. It's kind of a bit like a Freemason's handbook, really. Now, in Hawaii, there are no records available between 1869 and 1873. But a newspaper on December the 6th, 1872, there was a post in the paper asking or calling for all Freemasons across the islands to meet at Lodge 1, which was opposite the palace. It also happens to be home of the post office and the Supreme Court. Funny that, isn't it? To create a treaty to take over Hawaii. Right. Now, according to Wikipedia, King Kamehameha had died on December the 11th, but my record shows December the 6th. He was actually poisoned. So everything, because it goes to the post office, there's a 3-day rescission law, 3 days, it's called a lemon law, and 45-day trust law. Okay, just side note, personal debt is cleared in 7 years. Country debt is cleared in 70 years. I've talked about this before on many timelines. Okay. So 1893, US troops landed, actually 225 troops landed and came and took over the palace. Queen Liliuokalani is actually an Eastern Star Freemason, and she answers to the Post Office General, and so she must surrender her queenship over to the Postmaster General. So she ruled between January 29, 1891, January 17, 1893, which is when they landed. Okay, so we do that treaty, and it takes us up to, in 1919, another treaty was signed, and so they offered 100% all Hawaiians $1 a year for free water and land, and it was a treaty written in adverb-verb. 1939, the war was going on in Europe. So in 1941, the treaty expired, and it expired at 8 a.m., but Japan bombed at 6:30 a.m. They only bombed the postal ships, And then, of course, Pearl Harbor. They did that 45 minutes early as well. They stuck stamps on the bombs, and they only bombed the postal boats. They didn't bomb civilians. So basically, it was a war between Tokyo and Hawaii postal masters. Yeah, I know. So, all right, let's go over here. Okay. On April the 6th, 1998, David-Wynn, Miller cracked the mathematical interface of communication. It's called syntax. And it kind of means that you can't cheat a math problem. 2 plus 2 is 4, but 2 plus 2 is what? In that process of him doing that, he presented his papers in this language, quantum grammar, to the courts, and I think it was like a total of about 600 judges recused themselves, meaning they just wouldn't go to court with it. And in that process, within a period of, I don't know, like 10 years or something, he disbarred 4,000 judges and 3,000 lawyers. Now, if you take into account in America, there are 1.6 million lawyers, and this is dates from a couple of years ago, so that might have changed. 90% of all politicians are lawyers. They're all trained in adverb-verb, not correct grammar. No law or fact shall be tried in court. He also, in 1998, David Wynn-Miller, stopped all cursive writing in schools and universities. It is just squiggly line poetry, basically. So adverb-verb, the terrible grammar that we've been taught and still sits, all laws, all constitutions, pretty much everything is written in this adverb-verb, so incorrect grammar. And all of that language exists in a negative state. You know, so they go like no parking, no this, no that, no that. And, you know, even the 10 Commandments is thou shalt not, thou shalt not. It's not positive at all. All the courts exist in negative language. So it's called passe syntax grammar. So jurisdiction is actually an opinion. All courts in the world exist in the same jurisdiction. It is a foreign vessel in dry dock. A venue, however, is a geographical idea on paper. And of course, we've talked about the cap letter non de guerre, dead people. So if it's in caps, it means dead. Vessels are also considered boats, trains, cars, steam engines, and humans. And also, according to the UPU, that a human is a vessel too. Now, did you know that there are 520 pieces of punctuation? And that the 2000 Olympic Games insisted that every single person in the Games, every commentator's name must be written in the correct grammar, but that brought too much attention to syntax, so they stopped doing that pretty quickly. Now, this is my poor rendition of this flag. Now, you see that flag straight away, we always think American flag, don't we? Yeah, no, it's not. It is not the American flag anymore, and it is not a political flag. It is actually a language flag that was filed August 12th, 1992 with the United Nations, and it flies as number 1. It is a 1.1.9 flag. All the other flags, 199 flags at the UN, all sit behind this flag as 3x4 boat flags. So that is a language flag. As of August 13, all the flags in America all had yellow fringes on them, which would mean that they're military. Get into vexillology, that is the study of flags. Right, so David Wynn-Miller. Okay, on June 1977, David Wynn-Miller became the elected king of Hawaii by the 72 families. It took him 3 years to write the Constitution, with 38 kapuna rotating in and out helping him, written in both English and Hawaiian. You guys have a Constitution written in quantum grammar. Quantum grammar is, there's no room for interpretation. It's written in fact. I mean, it's just incredible. This is what we're trying to do in Australia, so that we've got a foundation document to work off. So you guys are way ahead of the curve over there. So all you have to do to come under that flag and use those documents is to go and get a claim of the life. File a life claim, and you come under the venue of grammar, which gives you the rights to make claims. So live claim doesn't cost that much. It actually eradicates the non de jure dead person, and then you learn how to do the mechanics with the post office in order to travel and do all those sorts of great things. So, yay, Hawaii! Soon everything will be written in quantum grammar, and there will be no room for interpretation. And there's maybe 3 authorized people in the world that write live life claims. There's a few dodgy people writing them, so you have to be careful, okay? So, can't wait to get to Hawaii.